is a maestro with a uniquely fresh approach to classical music. With his Johann Strauss Orchestra, he's toured the world, but is as happy playing in shopping centres and football stadia as he is in world-class concert halls. Please welcome the irrepressible Andre Rieu. Hello, lovely to see you. Well, that must be the largest choir that you've ever performed with.
Yeah.
What an event.
65,000 people.
Gosh, almost in tune as well.
And then to know that nobody wanted to make a record with me.
So it goes back that long. Was it hard at the beginning then to get anybody interested at all?
It took me 7 years. I went to Hilversum, it's our record city in Holland, together with Margie, my wife. Do you want please make a record with us? Yes, yes, of course. What do you play? Waltzes. Go back to your grandmother and play for her.
Really?
And that took us 7 years.
Just then, chipping and chipping and chipping away.
Yeah, yeah.
It's an astonishing... I love this sort of... having looked at your biography and that of Johann Strauss. There was Johann Strauss Sr. and there was Johann Strauss Jr. There was Andre Rieu Sr., who was a great conductor, and Andre Rieu Jr. So the parallels are amazing, really,
It's true, and also the parallel because Johann Strauss Sr. didn't want Johann Strauss, the son, to play the violin. He secretly studied the violin because he was jealous of his own son.
How was that reflected in your own life?
My father was not jealous of me, but he was not very happy that I played waltzes. I didn't educate you to play waltzes.
But you see, this is often the feeling in the classical music world, isn't it, Andre Rieu? You know, and then these gazillions of people, you know, attending your concerts. You hit a nerve. You found something that people do. Who could dislike a waltz? It was Brahms, wasn't it, who wrote on the fan of Strauss's wife about the Blue Danube, not alas written by Johannes Brahms.
Yeah.
So Brahms was a fan of Strauss.
Brahms was a fan of Strauss, and Richard Strauss was a fan of Strauss, and Ravel was a fan of Strauss. They all saw that this man was a genius.
Does the sort of prejudice get you down a bit from time to time?
I don't understand the English.
Does the prejudice against this kind of music get you down? Does it depress you? Or...
I understand what you mean. Yes, it's true. When I was in a classical orchestra myself 100 years ago, I was sitting there and we did our Beethoven and Brahms, and then the conductor said, "Oh, we have 5 minutes left. Let's do the Danube." And that made me angry because to play the Danube, like everybody together, that is very difficult.
Yes,
you know, it's not easy to play a waltz.
He demands as much respect as any other musician.
Yes, certainly.
You play a rare violin. You have a Stradivarius dating from when?
From 1732.
Heavens above, that's an old instrument. Presumably very scared. Well,
No, I'm not scared at all.
You don't mind it?
No. I'm used to play violin. So.
But it's a responsibility having one that's so old.
Of course it is, but of course it's mine. I bought it, but I don't see myself as the owner. I see myself as the caretaker. So the next generation can play on it. It's such an honor that I can play on this instrument.
You do these amazing concerts. Your orchestra, beautifully clad, white tie and tails for the men, these enormous crinolines for the women. And your orchestra players smile. I love having you on the show, not least because the ladies look to be having such a lovely time playing. It's obviously important to you, the appearance of the whole thing.
It is very important.
And the whole show.
You know what? When you go to a classical concert, mostly everybody's in black. And everybody plays with their face as if they are already dead. And so I was in this orchestra, and everybody around me, nobody spoke about music. So I came home every day more sad than the day before, and Marjorie, my wife, said, "You are so sad. You know, I will earn the money for you, and you quit your job, and you follow your dream." And that's what I did. And so I formed this own orchestra, and I'm very grateful to Margie, you can imagine, because she did that for me. Now we are married for 38 years.
She had the faith in you. Well, The CD, there's a DVD celebrating 25 years it is now of the orchestra. Andre Rieu, in love with mastering, because people might assume that you're Viennese, as it's all Viennese waltzes. You're Dutch, you know, you live in a castle in Maastricht, which sounds awfully grand.
Yes, you know, I was... I'm still a fan of Tintin.
Yes,
Tintin.
Hergé.
And, yes, and I was always reading these books, and there's one of the books where the professor buys this castle for the captain. And there's the image when they walk to the castle, and I was like this, and I said, I want to have a castle too. So when you have a dream, dream it and do it, and then you will fulfill it.
Do it in style. So,
and I have it's not as big as the castle of Tintin. It's a small castle.
A small castle. You still clearly get every bit as much buzz and a kick out of doing it as you do. Is it still a thrill to pay for a huge audience, bringing in carriages and horses?
Yeah, it is. And I'm always terribly nervous. And when you know, we know everything how to do, but I don't know the audience. So, and every night again, it's a challenge. How will the audience like it? And then I see all these happy faces when we come on stage, and then I'm not nervous anymore.
That makes it worthwhile. It's always a delight to have you here, even though I have to completely clear my set to get you all on, which I will do later. The new album, In Love with Maastricht, a tribute to my hometown, is out on the 4th of March, and Andre and his orchestra will be touring the UK in December. But for now, thanks to Maestro Andre Rieu.
Thank you very much.